Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Waters, and I am here live with you from Central New York, CNY Fertility and CNY Healing Arts here in Syracuse. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. We have made it to Wednesday, and today I want to talk about pregnancy loss, recurring pregnancy loss, otherwise known as miscarriage. Unfortunately, I'm going to assume that if you are listening to me right now, it's because you have had this experience, which I know is devastating. It can feel like a betrayal of your body because it is on some level. So, I'm going to simplify things for everyone because what I've observed over the past 30 years of being involved with healthcare is that everything's become very complicated. And sometimes it needs to be, and sometimes it does not need to be complicated. Health is simple. It is cultivating health, repairing your endocrine glands, getting your cells to function better, to create their own naturally occurring antioxidants, is a pretty easy thing to do. Now, any day now, I'm going to be having my pyramid of health available. And I'm going to share with you what I feel are the most important things to creating lasting health longevity. The foundation of it is a psycho-emotional, and the top, kind of the top and the bottom of health is how we are feeling, which has a direct impact on how our cells are functioning. We know that science has proven that, quantum physics has proven that. So we have in the middle, we have our nutrition and we have our organ endocrine function. Oh, something I learned over the weekend. I was at a wonderful event in Colorado talking about health and healing. It was a lot of fun with some well-seasoned practitioners that have been teaching on in the field of education for 40 years or more. Is that when there's malnutrition, a lack of the nutrients that you need in the body, the first system that shows up to reflect that imbalance or lack of nutrients is the endocrine system. I don't know exactly why, but I'm going to assume it's because the word hormone means to make happen, right? And so everything in our body needs specific hormones to make it happen, right? I'm not entirely sure about peristalsis. Actually, yes, because that is often triggered by the pituitary, which is in direct communication with the hypothalamus, and that is the driver of our hormonal system and often our digestive system, right? So do you offer general selection? I'm not sure. You are very welcome, Beck 424. I'm happy to share information with everybody. I've certainly have accumulated a lot over my lifetime, and I'm happy to share it. Some of it was not quite as useful as my more recent acquiring. So, anyways, so in traditional Chinese medicine, if you are working with an acupuncturist, please, 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 I want you to get a pattern diagnosis, get a differential diagnosis. Okay. You need to know what you're working on because that is something that you're going to do every single day. That's not once a week. That's not twice a month. That's every single day you're going to be working on changing your underlying pattern with how you're breathing, with how often you're sleeping, with the kind of exercise you're doing, with your food choices, with everything you're doing is having an impact on how your cells are functioning and how your endocrine system is functioning, right? So fertility is all about the endocrine system. So we need to get your ovaries functioning, your hypothalamus, your thyroid, all functioning. And I'm here to tell you, it's not rocket science, folks. It's really not. We can do it. It's not that hard. It doesn't have to be that hard. There's multiple approaches to it. So if you have had the unfortunate experience of pregnancy loss, I want you to consider that you are falling into one of three categories, okay? Excuse me. The first is excess heat. If you are getting night sweats, hot flashes, you're hot all of the time, you love air conditioning, you really feel more irritable in the heat, in the humidity, you probably are in this pattern of excess heat. Now, how would that show up in your hormonal system? Well, hot flashes are a direct result. Either your thyroid is hyperactive, right? That can be a sign your thyroid is working overtime, is trying to compensate. And if your thyroid is overcompensating, it could be your adrenals are sluggish and your ovaries are definitely sluggish. I don't care what the blood work says, right? I don't care about anything other than your symptoms at this point, right? So if your thyroid's off, your ovaries are off, and we want to support them to get on. So we can do that. So you would want to go, you can Google for a list of foods that are cooling. You want to cool yourself down from the inside out. Living in air conditioning, cooling yourself down from the outside in is not ideal. It's just going to create more heat in your body. It sets you up for this cycle because your internal temperature is trying to compensate for this external imposition. So it's better to cool yourself down and learn to adapt in the seasons that you're in. So you can warm yourself up more naturally in the winter and you can cool yourself down in the summer, right? So I have a lot more to say about that, but that's my own personal thing. I'm not going to go off on a tangent about all of this. The other pattern is, excuse me, I'm having a histamine reaction, is a stasis chi, which is your energy and blood stasis pattern. Now, let me just say, how would an excess heat condition lead to pregnancy loss or miscarriage? Because in Chinese medicine, excess heat can force the blood out of the vessels. So excess bleeding. So the heat would actually create a scenario, an environment in your uterus where the blood is not being held in the vasculature system well. So the heat is forcing the blood out. So your digestive system can also reflect that. People that had a lot of GI issues, loose stools, diarrhea, all of that can be a sign of excess heat also. So in the chi and blood stasis pattern, that would be like PMS. You wake up in the morning really irritable. You feel easily irritated all the time. You have red spots on your tongue. The tongue is a reflection of your entire internal organ system. So you can look at your tongue and see if there's spots on there. That is a sign of stasis, blood stasis pattern. And that means the liver is under functioning. Your liver is not functioning well and it needs to be supported. So in order to move the blood, right? So when you go to bed at night, this is Chinese medicine, the blood returns to the liver. It is stored there. So when you wake up in the morning, when your liver's a little under functioning, that's why you feel more irritable in the morning and you crave stimulants. Like coffee is a good stimulant and it gets things moving. And after you get moving around, then you feel better. So that is a sign. PMS, there can be heat connected to that. You feel hot and irritable, all of that, depending on the season, depending on your environment. So we want to keep things moving well, right? So the best thing to do is you want to exercise a lot during your luteal phase, after you ovulate, before your cycle begins, unless you think you might be pregnant. Move the body a lot. Do some real work to get your chi and blood moving, get your lymphatics functioning better so you're not feeling that stuckness all the time. So that's the second pattern. The third pattern is a deficiency pattern. Now, these are the folks that often have dark circles under their eyes. You feel tired all the time, back pain, knee pain. You might feel cold. Probably your thyroid is under functioning. Your ovaries are probably under functioning. You may have low ovarian reserve. So this is a pattern where, and it's fairly easy to correct. You may, your DHEA will be low, the kidney adrenal axis is low. So this can be fairly easily corrected with some tonic herbs, sleeping more, resting when you're tired, adjusting your diet so it's more nourishing, not relying on raw, cold foods, giving up drinking ice. Ice is one of the worst things you can do for your digestive system. Why? Because our stomach is 98, 99 degrees. And when you take in really cold water, what happens is the body has to work overtime to warm things up for it to be absorbed, right? So then you'll actually feel more heat as a result. So people that are hot all the time drinking ice, they think it's going to cool them down. It does temporarily, but the long term, it actually can heat you up and it weakens your digestive fire. We need a certain amount of fire in our stomach, the digestive fire, in order to digest things well and assimilate them. So that pattern leads to pregnancy loss because you just don't have enough energy to sustain the life. So that can very easily lead to pregnancy loss. So we need, remember, it takes a lot of cellular energy, a lot of overall energy to grow another life. And so you need to make sure that you are nourishing yourself in a way that you're getting enough energy and doing some tonic herbs. There's really good ones out there: ashwagandha, American ginseng, Korean ginseng, rhodiola. There's lots of good things that you can do, that you can add in. Licorice root's really good. And you can do this in the form of tea. You can make strong teas. You can steep them for 10 minutes per cup. Now you're really having some medicinal tea. You know, it's always what I say, it's what you do every day that matters the most. So this is what's actually going to accumulate over time and allow you to change, to support your endocrine system to function better so you can sustain the life that you need. Now, I have gotten involved quite a bit with this discussion around autoimmune and what autoimmune actually is. And this is based on the work of Dr. Royal Lee. None of this was my idea. I've just taken his ideas and applied them to the fertility world because I believe that those of you that have suffered from pregnancy loss have entered the autoimmune phase of the uterus and ovaries. And for whatever it's worth, if you've had an egg retrieval, which is an necessary invasive procedure, then you have put your ovaries into the autoimmune phase. So you need to know that you can correct it. It's fairly easy to correct, but you need to know that this is what you're doing. And to, it's a whole nother discussion about what it actually is and how you wind up there without something invasive like an egg retrieval. There's other factors that would put you into the ovarian autoimmune phase, but certainly the autoimmune phase of the uterus would also be considered part of the pregnancy loss pattern. So we want to correct that. Remember, we're designed to heal and auto-correct, self-correct. And if that's not happening, we need to look at why. And the why always comes down to emotions, structure, right? If you're structurally unsound and your uterus is out of alignment, that needs to be corrected in a perfect world. Nutrients, the macro and the micronutrients, we need to make sure that you're getting the things that you need. Viruses, bacteria, heavy metals, these all contribute to the autoimmune phase of the uterus and ovaries. Those need to be eliminated, possibly. So that's all the stuff that we can do very easily. And it just comes down to how you're going to do it and what is the fastest way to do it. And that's my special interest, which I'll talk about more. This is why I love light therapy. Light simply accelerates your ability to heal and to naturally detoxify and to get the mitochondria in the cells to function better. A lot of times what happens is that nitric oxide gets jammed inside the mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cell. And then the ability to create ATP, the energy that you need to sustain a life, is decreased until that nitric oxide gets released with the help of light therapy. And that's what it's doing. You apply the light, freeze up the NO. Now your cells, now you're actually absorbing the nutrients that you're taking. You're absorbing better the foods, you're utilizing the foods that you're eating to create energy that's going to sustain you. So for more information, you can come to my website, sign up for my newsletter if you would like to. I would love to hear from you. I love questions and I love easy solutions. So, and I love to hear what's going on with everybody. So I'm going to say goodbye to Instagram. You've got my website there. Have a wonderful day, everyone. All right. I'm going to put it here. All right, everybody. You let me know what you're thinking about these days, okay? Oh, hi, Sammy. Hello, hello. I don't think you have the autoimmune phase of the uterus. I know I missed your birthday, though. That was last week. I hope you had a good birthday. I was here with Amanda. We were sending you birthday love. I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you separately. Bye.